Here's the truth. Making your offer itself, it's never been the hard part, all right? It's just never been the thing that is going to keep you back. Actually, and when I'm talking about specifically making the offer, right? What's hard is the fact that you don't know what levers to pull when it comes to the offer. What's hard is the fact that you're kind of in your head constantly going back and forth, and meanwhile, time is slipping through your fingers just like some other thing that slips through your fingers, butterfingers, okay? So tap in. Let me show you that in reality, you're closer than you think, all right? And we're going to go ahead and unveil that here so you can start taking some action towards wherever the heck you're trying to go. What's going on? Justice Seven here. I am here every Wednesday dropping these videos for you. I'm making them really for you because you're a creator, you're a coach, you're an expert, you're some kind of high ticket service provider, and you're looking to go ahead and make more money from a personal brand. At the very least, some kind of brand to grow it, scale it, optimize what you're doing, maybe get off the ground floor, which is this is a combination with this video, how we're going to kind of check some of these boxes here. But I'm telling you, you've arrived at the right place, and this is probably hitting your feed at the right time, if you will. And so if you're new here, go ahead, drop a new down below in the comments. Would love to see your name pop up. I always love seeing new folks. I'm always commenting back. I got time on my hands like that. When you're not busy taking sales calls and 24/7, you tend to be okay. So, but obviously too, if you're returning, like I say every week, you clearly like this stuff. All right, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. You don't have to hit the like button just yet because I haven't given you any value yet. Besides the fact that I'm starting to get to the point that you're probably just dropping the ball left and right. So let's go ahead and I say this to you with love. This is my coach hat on. You're here because you want my coaching hat on. If you want my friend hat on, you'd come down, I don't know, to the local pub out here in Massachusetts. Like, do people say pub? I don't go to bars or clubs like that anymore. I guess I go to the bar every once in a while. It's more like I go there to eat because it's got faster seating. I digress. Let's get to it. When you're looking to expand and build your own offer, it is super tough to know where to start. These are just realities when it comes down to it. You're starting off, you're like, and this is especially too, like this video is gonna be a little catered towards a couple of different types of people, but one of those types of people is you already have something that's working. My sense, I had it where I was an affiliate before I went full time with coaching, if you will. And I had a lot of leverage in that direction, right? So, but the reality is, like, you probably have some existing leverage wherever you came from. You got some kind of expertise that you're looking to go ahead and ram that into the future in a way that can get you a ton of freaking leverage, a ton of results, and a ton of goods. All right. So, but the reality is, you're not sure what levers to pull. And for sure, you're overcomplicating it. That is the essence of what I want to tell you right now. You're overcomplicating it. Get out of your head. Start taking action in the right direction. Stop playing games. I know it's not intentional, but this is what you're doing, right? And so one strong way to kind of view things is just that if you're at this stage, is that the offer is not this massive, complicated mountain that you have to climb, right? It's not about having the perfect niche. It's never been about having the perfect avatar. It's never been about having the perfect tech setup and tech stack. And, this thing matches this thing and this thing automates with this thing and yada, yada, yada. It's not about having these things before starting, right? All this is keeping you from starting. And all this is honestly keeping you from feeling ready when you already are. This video is your reminder. This is your YouTube dose, wherever you're watching this dose of action packed in a bundle. All right. Bundle just happens to come in video form today instead of an Amazon package, right? But really, it's not about having all these perfect pieces, and all this is keeping you from being ready, right? In reality, is you're just lacking clarity from feeling ready when you already are, right? So I believe that, like, once again, you're lacking clarity really on like what it should look like, and I believe that there is this permission myth that is flying around the world, if you will. I was going to say online, but it's really just the world. This permission myth out there. The reality that no one, and let's put it this way, the reality is that no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to give you permission. And waiting for that permission is the absolute killer of growth. If you know the movie Candyman, it's the Candyman of growth that's going to come and get you. All right. So you need to go ahead and put that in the past. You already have the skills. You already have the skills. If you're watching this especially, it's most likely because you already have something that's working. I'm telling you, and even right now, so often people are at a point where they do have something to bring to the table. They just don't know how to package it into an offer. Like, you have to be willing to fail in order to grow. You hear me say this right now. You're like, Justice, I know I know. Well, then why aren't your actions freaking showing it? All right. Like I'm telling you here. So you already have the skills. You're just not in a position. You're not positioning them into an offer, right? My first big win really came from when I was, my first big win specifically online was when I had my first ever 15K month. And that was when I was purely an affiliate. I thought I'd cracked the code at the time, but my coach, I remember he just mentioned me like, hey, he brought to my attention basically that I still was not even close to my full potential. I can remember this where my coach at the time, he was like, hey, here's the thing. Next time when you go to actually, you're going to go ahead. At that time, I was solely selling with sales calls. He's like, hey, when you go ahead and you're making an offer, this time, offer the same result, but don't include the affiliate offer. And when he said this to me, it blew my mind in I was gonna say in the wrong way, in the way that I'm just like I was baffled. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is how I'm making money. This is what's working. I just feel like I'm getting momentum here. But he saw something I couldn't see, right? And that's what a lot of times for you right now, you just can't see what you don't know what you don't know. Embrace that and don't be a fool living within that in the sense that, oh, I'm just going to keep doing what I do forever. This is why you get the help. And so really, but I stayed coachable in that moment. I stayed coachable, got out there, and I was quickly able to see what he meant. And I don't mean quickly in the sense of, oh, the next day I went ahead and made $2 million from that tip of advice. The point was that I got out there, I made the offer, and I remember that I was like, this can still work. I got very quick validation from the marketplace that this can still work without that affiliate offer there. A lot of times too, people get so focused on selling features. I got this feature, I got that feature. This is I heard a cool way of someone put it here. It's like the nice to haves. I think that's what it was, right? I don't know who coined that term, but it's a cool way of viewing it. They're selling the nice to haves. No one gives a damn about the nice to haves. They care about the results. The affiliate offer, in my position, that was just a vehicle. And it's nice to have a vehicle. But there's so many other vehicles on the road that can get you there. And they all have nice to haves. So your offer is going to have nice to haves. At the end of the day, you don't sell the nice to haves, you sell the results. And so that's all I had to flip. That's all I had to flip there. So then I started testing the waters with coaching. And 2 months later, I actually hit my first 30K month, right? That was at that point, I was basically mixing affiliate offers and coaching. And then a little over 3 months after that, I crossed my first $100,000 online, right? I went from having my first ever sale to crossing my first 100K in 6 months and 8 days. I remember that because I have a post in my mind that was very vivid to when I put that out, kind of showing some love online to a couple of people in that moment. But that is where it can be so critical for you if you tap into this stuff, right? Because it set me apart. And like, this was, I feel like it was that moment that things really started to get moving. And not because I'd magically learned some new skills, right? But it was because I finally stepped into my own lane. And that came from really putting my offer out there, right? So from there, at that point, I stacked 50K months and beyond. Today I've done well over 7-figure sales and coaching, and I'll be the first to tell you, like, put me in line, put me in front of the cash register to tell you right now if you're at the register. I'll be the first to tell you it started with my offer. It started with my offer, right? And not just that it started with my offer, but it started with the confidence to basically back it, right? Like that is the big piece there. It's the combination of just a few things. It's always just a few things. It's never a myriad or a myriad, however you say the word, of things that's going to take, right? So it's understanding what the missing links are. And the faster you can do that, the better, because it's going to set you on the right path that much faster so you can start to execute. And these differences, these missing links, when you start to bring these chains together, guess what? This is what now starts to kick things up and starts to truly elevate your future income. It starts to elevate in ways that you didn't even imagine. I'm saying this as someone who's living it, who's truly living it. I didn't see this life coming. I was an accountant for 6-7 years. I didn't know it was possible outside of climbing the corporate ladder. But understanding just how to, I don't even want to use the word master, because if I say the word master, then I think it's going to take a long time. This stuff doesn't have to take a long time. You just have to be living and breathing it. Like, you got to, if you want to really take this stuff to the next level. And you have to live and breathe it for 20 years. I've been in full time in this online space for 5 years. I feel like I feel like I move like I've been in it for 20. The reality is you can accomplish a lot in a small amount of time. And I am a testament to that, right? As I humbly pat myself on the back here. But whatever, right? The delay is only hurting yourself long term. That's the moral of the story here. Stop delaying. Get clarity with your offers sooner than later, right? I had built up skill sets back in the day before I was a coach that I basically validated enough with getting results as an affiliate. And I've done other personal branding things before that, right? I'm not trying to get into my whole past right now. You don't care about me, you care about results, right? So what if I could basically bring that to the table and help others? That's what I had to get to the point of realizing. And I obviously had assistance in getting there, right? If you're a coach, or an expert just kind of working to figure out your offer, I'm almost certain that you're well ahead of where you even need to be in order to basically create and benefit from a lucrative offer. This is without a doubt, right? The problem is positioning. The problem is that you're having a tough time packaging those skills into an actual offer. Selling information is sometimes a daunting thing when you're new into this space. You don't understand how the best way is to get that point across, that like why someone would buy it from you. And this is why the positioning, the messaging, the packaging, it's also critical because the problems exist. You already know the problems exist. You probably went through those problems yourself, which is why you're so passionate about helping others to get by it, to get through it, right? To it and through it, right? Bob and weave around those problems in order to get to the freaking promised land, right? So this is why it takes the right lever, the right levers to level, the right levers to level up your offer, right? Your own offer. And I'm going to say this from these three types of starting points. Consider these three main levers your vehicles to get there. Lever number one, skills. You got to have skills and you already have them. Let me repeat that. You got to have skills and you already have them. Stop underestimating your damn self. Like lean in. Lever number two, positioning, right? Package your skills into one leveraged offer. Not 20, not 3, not 5, 1. I'm a big believer in the power of one. If you just started watching me yesterday, you didn't know that. But if you watch me for some time now, you know you've heard me say the power of one before. The simplicity beats hustle every single time over the long run. Every single time, right? And even in the short term, most likely. One strong offer creates momentum that can change everything for you. Consider this like the first domino. The first domino that really sets off a chain reaction of growth in your business and in your life as well too. I'm a big believer that your business and your personal life, they need to be mixed together, which is the contrary of what a lot of people want to believe. They want to believe that, no, let me put these two in two separate boxes. And it's like, no, just don't do that. Put them up. I use the same, my calendar is the same calendar with personal and business on there. They're interchangeable. I look at the same calendar. I'm not going to separate both, right? You need to start viewing this in your life this way because you need to start embracing this. I already told you this already. Embrace the path that you're on. Stop being 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like I'm telling you here, this is a game changer when you start to view things this way. So I could go off on that, but this is the first domino that's going to start to really kick things off for you, right? Why in the business is this first domino going to be that much more impactful for you? Because this first domino is going to make content all of a sudden starts to become easier. Your sales process simplifies. Client results create demand in the business. This is why this first offer and getting, I don't want to even call it the first offer, your next big offer. This is why I can really start to create something special. I saw this happen with an entrepreneur I helped, Ryan. He went from being an affiliate. He was a teacher, right? Full-time teacher, and he was running this as a part-time coach online. And I helped him to start basically running his own offer completely from scratch to the point where he closed two $10,000 months, cash collected $10,000 months within a span of 60 days, right? And even it was either the first or the second one, he had a 100% close rate. 100%. Every single person made an offer to that month he closed. You can't get there unless you have the clarity to start taking action. The clarity is what's keeping you at the freaking start line, and you're never going to get to the finish line. Here's another fun tip. My wife always reminds me as well too, because I can get this way because I am sometimes so focused on I want to get the win. I want to finish. I'm competitive by nature, maybe because I played sports, whatever. Let's not go back on my inner child stuff, right? But the reality is I like hitting the finish line. The reality is though, in a lot of things in life, and this is where, from being blunt too, when I have these conversations, it's more so around like emotional growth, spiritual growth, right? Potentially like relational growth, if you will. It's relationships and such. Like, the reality is that you're not going to hit a finish line in these areas. You'll never be emotionally complete. And that's okay, right? And I think that the sooner you can embrace that, the sooner you can just, it turns into a journey, right? Kobe Bryant used to always say, love the journey, don't love the destination. And I think that is one of the most powerful things that you can start to think of, because entrepreneurship is a journey that you have to embrace. You have to embrace it, because the sooner you can view it from that sense, you will just be able to continue pouring in. Because otherwise, if we get disgruntled, we get discouraged when we don't get to that destination, and now we give up. And if we come into this with this mentality, you're going to give up far too soon, right? And with, like I mentioned with Ryan there, like, he's not the unicorn. Like, he is not the unicorn. He was just sitting exactly where you're potentially sitting right now. Right now, right? And lever number 3 is the confidence. It's the confidence. And this comes from mentorship, right? From clarity, from getting what you actually need in order to take the leap. Confidence isn't built by just thinking about it. It's not built by just thinking about it, but by having enough clarity to actually take action, by having enough clarity to actually go out there and do the thing. And, lo and behold, that's where the money's made, which is why you're doing this, by the way. You're not doing this so you're not making a nonprofit. Don't kid yourself. It's about impact. But with impact comes dollars. You can't make impact on anybody unless they pay you. I'm a firm believer in that. You can have an impact. Don't get me wrong. I'm being drastic. Now you're getting me all emotional here, right? The reality is, yes, you can have a light impact. But if you want to create massive impact, you have to get in the pocket with somebody, and they have to become a buyer. That's why I'm not huge in doing like free case studies. Like, oh, like, just come work for me and I'll help you get a testimonial. Especially at this point in my business, I don't need that. But it's like, the reality is, if you're early on, that's the thing that people teach others. I don't really love that mentality. Have them at least pay you something. Pay you $1, pay you $10, whatever the number is. I don't care. But the point is, have them pay you something. You need skin in the game. I'm a big believer in having skin in the game here, right? Because otherwise, you're just going to drop the ball and you're not going to be in it. You're not going to be in it, right? So you need to have this, because all this stuff fuels the confidence. And really, once again, it just goes shit again here. Once again, the confidence is not built from just thinking about this stuff. It's from having the clarity to go out there and build it by doing, right? And that's where, keep this in mind. Like, I say, keep this in your mind. Even star this in your freaking notes. Like, and if you're taking notes down right now, confidence is not a feeling. I'll say it again for the people in the back. Confidence is not a feeling. All right? It's not a feeling. It comes after the action, not before it. Let that resonate with you, right? Like for you right now, it's thinking like, all right, well, how do I know when I'm ready to launch my first offer? Or how do I know I'm ready to launch this next offer? Here's my answer. If you're already helping people, if you're already closing deals for someone else, like if it's the affiliate side, if you're already creating the content, you're ready. Chances are, if you're talking about it to your family members and your friends, you're ready. Lean in. There isn't going to be all of a sudden the sun has risen now in a certain, I don't know, it rose in the west today instead of the east. Right, rise in the east, that's in the west, right? It rose in the west today instead of the east, that's your sign. Don't wait for that. You'll be waiting forever. I guess, it's never going to come. Forever, you can't even wait forever, because it's just never going to come, right? So this is how we need to change. If you're waiting for that permission, it's not coming. Validation that you have to have, it's going to come internally. And the faster it comes, the faster you can increase your income. The faster you can genuinely get to helping people like I know you want to do. You don't need to know everything, right? You don't need to know everything. And the reality is, you don't need a perfect system out of the gate. There is no such thing as perfect. And that's why there's so much irony in the fact that we all are striving for it before we launch. You'll never get perfect. My offers now are far from perfect, because I'm far from perfect. You're far from perfect. Anyone you're thinking of right now who you think is perfect is far from perfect. So lean on that truth and the fact that look at how far they still got. Look at how far I still got. And now start to think about how far you can get, okay? And honestly, this is exactly why I built out Brand of Clients, right? The whole philosophy around B2C for me was, hey, because too many coaches and experts are stuck kind of duct taping tactics together, and wondering why they can't create consistent clientele and get consistent income going. At the moment that I'm at least recording this right now, I'm actually running a client surge plan right now for this quarter inside of my B2C operating system, right? Branded clients for folks who want to join by the end of the month. And now, once again, yes, this is a sprint that I'm running right now, but the system itself works year round. So if you're watching this later, hey, the levers don't change. The only thing that changes is when you finally decide to pull them. All right. So that's all I got for you here today. Once again, I'm sure I'll drop some videos up here so you can go ahead and watch something else there too. The link's down below in the description if you want to go ahead and check out the details around B2C, my branded clients operating system. But from here, the choice is yours. Like, you can keep overthinking, you can keep stalling, you can keep waiting until it feels safe. When you get that safety net there, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be where I am if it was for me waiting for that. Or at least it wouldn't be this far, because I would have maybe just started now 5 years later. You can keep overthinking, stalling, just waiting all this stuff, like I said here. Or you can step into that arena. You can package your skills into one offer. You can finally build consistency, the consistency that you've been chasing. All right, the fastest path to cash is not some other shiny new strategy. It's getting you out of your own damn way. Pulling the right levers and just put your offer out there. Put your offer out there in the market. Point blank, period.